Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with your weekend winter storm. Things to know as we head into the next few days. Now, with this weekend winter storm, I am tracking what we're expecting. So let's go ahead and take Max 1 full and talk about what we're expecting here across the area. I am talking about brutally cold temperatures for your Saturday morning as temperatures fall to feels like temperatures around the single digits, the teens, and some places that are below zero this morning. We will have snow after dark for most of the night tonight and for most of the area, excluding portions of northeastern North Carolina. Then we'll transition over to a sleet, ice, rain mix Sunday morning from southeast to northwest as our warm air starts to infiltrate the area. We do have a cold weather advisory in place for Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina down into places around the Virginia, North Carolina near Emporia and up through Richmond, as wind chills will be again 5 below zero all the way up to warmer, quote unquote, 15 degrees. So here's a look at the current feels like temperatures across the area. Anywhere from about 5 degrees to about 13 in Smithfield, 10 in Chesapeake, 4 in Melfa, and -2 degrees there in Walbs Island. So a very cold start for us here across Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. But this is all to say we are anticipating our weekend winter storm. This winter storm will be something that brings us maybe a dusting of snow. We have rain that'll make it more of a slushy mess and start to really melt the snow that we have across the area. And then down in northeastern North Carolina, we have a winter weather advisory. That's for areas that may only receive a dusting of snow, but mainly a sleet and rain mix. The further north you go, the higher the snowfall totals are. And this is going to be through Monday as we continue to see wet weather starting tonight, all day Sunday, and then into the day for portions of the morning on Monday morning. Now here's a look at what's happening here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you across the area what I'm looking at in terms of that satellite and radar. And you can see down through Dallas and Waco, Texas, we're seeing some mix of snow, rain, ice, and regular rain. So up in northern Texas near Wichita Falls, heading to the Red River that divides Oklahoma and Texas, and I'll show you here with my pointer here. Right here is that mix of some heavier snow, and then the purple is sleet. So Dallas right now getting areas of sleet. You get down south of Dallas, between Dallas and Waco, and this is what we do not want to see. Areas right here in the pink, that's freezing rain. And so that leads to very icy concerns. Then you get south of Waco and some heavier rainfall is falling between there and Austin, and also down into Houston as well, where heavy rainfall continues. This is just the beginning of the winter storm in portions of the central U.S. that will eventually make it into our area. You get up near Oklahoma and it's all snow at the moment. For places in Arkansas, there's a mix of snow and then some of that sleet. Down in northern Louisiana, that's freezing rain. So very dangerous concerns there. Heading through Memphis, all snow right now. And then now in Atlanta, we are seeing some of that rain with some freezing rain just north of Birmingham, south of Huntsville. So this is a massive storm. And I'll go back to our winter storm alerts so you can see the differences with these storms here, or the storm impacts with this system here across the U.S. So you have the purple area right here, these dark purples. That is going to be your ice storm warning. Light purple that traces through parts of the deep south up into northeastern North Carolina, that is your winter weather advisory. The pink color that stretches back into parts of New Mexico, through Texas, up and through Oklahoma, all the way through the Mid-South and up into the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. That is your winter storm warning. And then those blue areas, we're watching for a winter storm watch well up into Maine. So this is going to be impacting hundreds of millions of people across the U.S. today. So let's go ahead and talk about what I'm expecting in terms of the timeline of this system. So we're going to have to go ahead and take max 1 full again as I talk about this futurecast in terms of what to expect for your Saturday. So temperatures this morning starting off in the teens and 20s, and will stay in the 20s throughout the day today, where temperatures may climb just below freezing to the lower 30s, but most of us will stay in the 20s. This morning, again, very chilly, where we will have wind gusts as high as about 25 to 30 miles per hour. We continue through the afternoon and temperatures stay in those upper 20s and lower 30s. And then through the evening and into the night, that's when we start to see that snow. Snow will begin from west to east. The timeline for today is around 8 to 9 p.m. for our furthest west areas, spreading out over the course of a couple of hours to encompass the majority of Virginia and maybe some isolated places getting closer to Elizabeth City and the Outer Banks. In this purple, that is your sleet. So, excuse me, in this purple, we'll see sleet developing in places like Eatonton all the way up into central northern North Carolina. But the rest of us in this blue, that is your snow. So we'll see snow coming through, eventually changing over into sleet for places like Melfa, West Point, Newport News, Wakefield, as that freezing line sets up right through the peninsula. Down into Emporia, Franklin, just to the west of Ahoskie, that's where I'm tracking this pink. That's the most dangerous. This is freezing rain. Now think of freezing rain as some precipitation that falls. It starts off as snow at the top of the atmosphere. Then, because of warmer air in the middle, it melts. Once you get to the surface where temperatures are around the 20s, it quickly refreezes and then freezes on contact with any surfaces below 32 degrees. That's what can make for the most icy situation here in Hampton Roads. So we're watching for these areas right here around Franklin, Emporia, and Ahoskie. In the green, that is going to be your cold rain. So we'll have cold rain throughout the day, temperatures rising by tomorrow morning, just above freezing in the middle to upper 30s. Now we continue through the morning on Sunday, and I'm watching for this rain to become much more widespread here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina as the center of low pressure starts to track just to the east of the area. This will pump in some warmer air, not only to the mid-levels of the atmosphere, but also closer to the surface. So temperatures will rise to the upper 30s and lower 40s, and we're talking mainly a cold rain. Inland, where we have the pink areas, that is going to be your freezing rain, and that's where that ice concern continues to build through Richmond, Wakefield, and down through Emporia. Sleet starts to head further north. We continue throughout the day on Sunday, and temperatures still stay above freezing, so we'll still have a few isolated showers during the afternoon and evening time, but inland still that freezing rain concern as we continue through about 5 p.m. Freezing rain continues overnight, excuse me, as you get into your Sunday evening into Sunday night, where temperatures will be in the upper 20s and lower 30s, and then we'll have widespread rainfall here through Hampton Roads in the green color, including northeastern North Carolina up through the majority of the peninsulas as temperatures stay above freezing. That's Sunday around 9:15. By the commute on Monday morning, the rain should be gone, but we may have a couple of lingering flurries behind the system on Monday. You can kind of see them here, 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 excuse me, and then around here. That will give us, again, the opportunity for maybe a little bit of a flurry behind the system as temperatures fall once again back to near freezing. But this will be mainly a wintry mix event, not so much a heavy snowfall event, just because the track of this low pressure system is much further north than what we previously forecasted a few days ago. That's why we always say stay close to updates on the forecast, because of that change that can happen and that could change snowfall totals. That's why we put our snowfall forecast out later. But snowfall totals across the area here in the light blue, maybe up to an inch for Rocky Mount, Ahoskie, Elizabeth City. This will be start off as snow, and then become sleet, and then eventually become ice, and then eventually become rain. And that will happen fairly quickly. You get into the darker blue colors that traces around the Virginia-North Carolina border up through the majority of the south side, and we can see up to 2 inches of snowfall. So we'll start off as snow, then overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning become sleet, eventually become freezing rain, and then become just regular plain Jane cold rain. So a mix there as well. In the pink color from South Boston, just north of Emporia through Williamsburg and Melfa, we can see 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. So sleet to snow to ice, and eventually that will also become rain later on Sunday. Now, in the areas in purple, that's going to be through Richmond, Farmville, up through Tappahannock. Snow, sleet, ice mixture. The snow window for us right now is between about 8 p.m. tonight and 3 a.m. on Sunday. So just make sure that any preparations you need to get done gets done today, as we will stay dry through the day today and eventually start to see those impacts coming through later on tonight. So in terms of storm impacts, we'll see snowfall. That's definitely going to be a medium impact late tonight. If you don't have to travel through the day tomorrow, I would just recommend staying home, because even though it will be raining, it just will be a mess of a day. So snowfall starts, and then we get our ice and sleet. That will be mainly around, again, the I-95 corridor and west, though some of our western areas could see some sleet and ice developing. And I'll show you the ice map in just a moment. But power outages could also be a concern for those areas that do see ice and sleet, especially mainly the freezing rain ice, where the ice will start to hold down and weigh down on those power lines. That could give us maybe a few power outages. We'll be tracking that with you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Daybreak. Then in terms of travel disruptions, I do anticipate for a few cancellations or delays at the Norfolk International Airport, and that's because not only will we see winter weather here in Hampton Roads tomorrow and tonight, but remember, airports are all connected. So with over 200 million people under winter weather alerts, we will see delays, because remember, they start downstream and start to trickle and impact other airports. So expect major airports like Dallas, Fort Worth, and places like heading into Oklahoma City, Memphis, JFK, up in New York. Expect those to have delays and cancellations as the snow starts to spread to the east. Now again, our main impacts will be in places that will be in central Virginia, and I am watching for the impacts of this freezing rain. So this ice potential, if it will show, let's see. I have to use my other one here. We'll use this one instead, since this model's not picking up on the actual numbers. So in terms of the European model, the heaviest ice accretion or ice buildup will be in central and Virginia and central North Carolina, western Virginia and western North Carolina, where we could see anywhere from ½ an inch of ice to up to over an inch of ice. So let's see. And you can see in those areas, Danville, Victoria, Richmond, an inch or more. And again, that holds down those power lines. So outages are more likely in this bright pink color. So good news for us here in Hampton Roads is that we're not really in that zone of ice, really. Virginia Beach, Elizabeth City, not really going to see much accumulation. You head further inland, so peninsulas heading towards I-95, and we could see maybe a few areas picking up 0.2 of an inch of ice up to 1/2 inch of ice. So it will be a mess, especially for the majority of the Commonwealth. We are just kind of right in that sweet spot of seeing this warm enough temperatures to where it will mainly be a cold rain here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina when we get to tomorrow. So that is what I'm expecting for that. And I want to show you some of the, excuse me, some of the forecast snowfall totals around the area when it comes to the GFS model, so that's our American model, and the European model. So this takes us through Sunday around midday, and we're only expecting maybe 1/10 of an inch of snowfall, maybe up to 1.5 inches around the south side. You get to the peninsulas and it gets exponentially more as that snowfall can be heavy at times. Richmond near 8 inches of snowfall. Wakefield, Newport News up through Melfa 3 to 4 inches. So the further north and west you are, the higher your snowfall totals are. Here's a look at the European model's thinking, and it's very similar to the American model. A dusting for northeastern North Carolina, 1/2 inch to maybe 2 inches for the south side. You get it into the peninsulas, 3 to 4 inches, and then near Richmond as high as about 8 to 8.5. So again, we're kind of getting the baby impacts of this storm, and that's because we will have that warmer air mixing into this, not only the mid levels of the atmosphere, but also the lower levels. And here's a look at why. So we have the types of winter precipitation. You have rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. So for rain, it starts off as crystals or ice crystals and snow in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Because tomorrow we'll have not only warm air in the mid levels of the atmosphere, but also down into the surface, we'll have mainly a rain by Sunday morning. You get into some areas that are further inland, and we have the ice crystals and snow at the top of the atmosphere. They melt in this warm layer, and then at the surface, because temperatures are below freezing, it will quickly refreeze, and all of this rain will freeze on contact with any surfaces that are below zero. That creates that icy glaze across the area. Then we are watching for the sleet as well. Cold air at the top of the atmosphere, a smaller warm layer, and then it refreezes as it heads into that thicker, colder layer, and that creates those sleet pellets. Then for snow, you need the whole atmosphere to be below 32 degrees or at or below 32 degrees around there. So we will see the potential for all 4 types of winter precipitation for today. And quickly, as we look again to, excuse me, look again to the timeline of this situation, we will stay dry for today as the snowfall continues. So here we go. We walk through the day today and we're dry. We're staying dry through your Sunday afternoon with highs in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Then snow starts to build in later on right around 10 to 11 p.m. Snow continues and then becomes sleet, freezing rain, and rain by 6 a.m. tomorrow. Mainly all rain for the majority of our area, with freezing rain inland in the pink by noon tomorrow, with some traces of freezing rain still ongoing for the peninsulas and some rain for the eastern shore around 4 to 5 p.m. And then we have rain through Sunday night and then tapering off early Monday morning. Stay with us as we transition over to on air fairly quickly. I will be recapping everything here, and then we'll take a break, and I'll be back later on today at about 11 a.m. to go more into depth about this weekend winter storm.